happened in near silence. No trophies. No spotlight. Just a rainy pitch, and a 17-year-old with something to prove. This isn't the story of a final. It's not the goal that broke a record. It's the match that never made headlines. It's the call that almost went unanswered. And it's the moment a legend could have faded before he ever truly began. Because sometimes, greatness whispers before it roars. And tonight, we're going back to that whisper. To a muddy field, a missed call, a silent nod from Sir Alex Ferguson. To the hotel room with no contract. And to the game that didn't matter until it changed everything. If you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever had to fight when no one was watching, then this story is your story too. This is not a documentary. It's not a biography. It's a moment in time. Reimagined. Reconstructed. Retold. This is the game that made Ronaldo, but no one saw it. Cristiano hated sitting still. But that's exactly where he was, on a splintered bench, rain drizzling over the empty stands, bootlaces muddy, heart boiling. He was 16. Fit. Sharp. Scoring in every scrimmage. But to Coach Mendes, that didn't matter. "You're too flashy, too selfish," the coach had said before the match. So Cristiano sat. Again. The team was down 1-0 before halftime. Missed passes. Low energy. No fire. Ronaldo clenched his jaw, watching from the sidelines like a lion in a cage. The assistant coach looked over once, then looked away. Even he knew Ronaldo should have been on the pitch. Cristiano had stopped complaining weeks ago. He stopped asking, stopped arguing. He just trained harder. First to arrive, last to leave. Coach Mendes ignored all of it. At halftime, the locker room buzzed with frustration. Mendes barked orders. No risks. Stick to the plan. Cristiano sat in silence, staring at the chalkboard. There was no plan. Second half started. 15 minutes passed. Still no change. Fans, what few there were, started calling for Ronaldo. The chants were quiet, but real. Then came the injury. One of the starting wingers twisted his ankle. Couldn't walk. Coach Mendes hesitated. Looked down the line. Ronaldo stood, didn't wait for the call. Just started warming up. "You're not going to play hero ball," Mendes warned. Cristiano didn't answer. He jogged onto the pitch like he'd been waiting his whole life for this. First touch, clean. Second, spin move. By his third touch, he was already sprinting past two defenders. The stadium came alive. Then came the goal. A rocket from outside the box. Top corner. Keeper didn't even move. No celebration. Just a look straight at Coach Mendes. The next day, Ronaldo showed up early. Earlier than usual. The sun wasn't even out yet. He trained alone on the far end of the pitch, volleys, sprints, footwork. Coach Mendes watched from his office window. Didn't come out. Word about the goal had already spread. Not from the fans, but from a scout. Someone had been there. Someone important. And Coach Mendes knew it. Cristiano didn't speak about it. Not to teammates, not even to his mother. He just trained harder. Like that goal hadn't happened. Like he had something more to prove. Later that afternoon, the assistant coach pulled him aside. "You know he's not happy, right?" Cristiano blinked. "Who?" "Mendes. That goal, it made him look like a fool." Cristiano shrugged. "That wasn't my goal. That was the team's." The assistant laughed under his breath. "You think he's gonna bench you again?" Ronaldo didn't answer. The next game came. Starting lineup was posted on the wall. Cristiano's name wasn't there. Again. He stood in front of the paper for a full minute. Eyes locked on the list. Not moving. Not speaking. Then he walked away. Straight to the training field. Alone again. The assistant coach followed. You could talk to him, you know. Cristiano turned. He knows. That night, a letter arrived at the club's office. Stamped. Official. From the north of England. Coach Mendes didn't open it. He tore it in half and threw it in the bin. The assistant coach fished it out later. It read, Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, observation request. Manchester United. 2 days later, the assistant coach made a call. Not to Mendes. Not to any official channel. Just a friend, an old scout working quietly in London. I've got a name for you, he said. But you didn't hear it from me. Cristiano didn't know. He just kept showing up. Earlier. Harder. He didn't care about the bench anymore. He played like every training session was his last shot. And people started noticing. A clip of his match, the goal, the sprint, the tackle, made its way to a junior analyst at Old Trafford. By accident. But that's all it took. One afternoon, Sir Alex Ferguson was in his office. Quiet. Reviewing youth reports. He almost skipped the tape. But something about the subject line, unknown wing talent, Lisbon, caught his eye. He watched it twice. Then he called Carlos Queiroz. Who's this boy? Queiroz paused. Let me guess, skinny. Wild. Number 7? Ferguson nodded on the other end. Find out why he's still there. Meanwhile, back in Lisbon, Ronaldo sat on the bench again. Same boots. Same rain. Only this time, there were 2 men in coats standing behind the fence. Watching. Quiet. Cristiano didn't look at them. He didn't need to. He played the final 30 minutes like fire. 1 goal. 1 assist. 1 bone-rattling tackle that shook the field. After the match, he walked to the locker room alone. As he passed the stands, one of the men turned to the other. He's not just fast, he said. He's angry. The other nodded. Perfect. Cristiano was eating with his teammates, cheap pasta, plastic trays, fluorescent lights, when the call came. His coach leaned in and tapped his shoulder. Phone. It's someone English. He froze. Swallowed hard. Walked down the hallway like a man heading to trial. He picked up the receiver. Cristiano? The voice had a crisp Portuguese accent, but softened by years abroad. This is Carlos Queiroz. I work with Sir Alex Ferguson. Silence. Cristiano felt the room narrow. The lights dimmed. His fingers clenched the cord. We saw your match, Queiroz continued. You weren't supposed to be on our radar yet. But here we are. Cristiano didn't speak. He didn't know what to say. We'd like to invite you for a trial. Nothing public. Just come. Bring your boots. He nodded. Yes, was all he could whisper. After hanging up, he walked outside. The Lisbon rain had stopped, but the pavement was still wet. It reflected the streetlights, like a stage. He sat on a bench and stared at his reflection in a puddle. Then he pulled out his notebook. When the world finally looks your way, don't blink. 2 days later, he boarded a flight to Manchester. No entourage. No agent. Just him, his boots, and the fire that never went out. As the plane took off, he looked out the window, not at the clouds, but at the horizon. He wasn't chasing fame anymore. He was chasing proof. It was just a friendly. That's what everyone said. A summer match. No stakes. Just an exhibition between Manchester United and a local club. But for Cristiano, it wasn't just anything. It was a live test. A room full of verdicts waiting to be made. He arrived 2 hours early. Quiet. Alone. No camera crew. No PR. Just boots in hand and purpose in his chest. The locker room buzzed with the usual jokes and banter. No one expected much from the new kid. He barely spoke English. He was skinny. Pale. 17. But on the pitch, under the floodlights, he became something else. He didn't start. Of course not. But in the 60th minute, Sir Alex gave a subtle nod to the bench. Carlos turned and pointed. Ronaldo. Warm up. He didn't just jog onto the field, he arrived. First touch? Smooth. He flicked the ball behind his heel and turned a defender like a page in a book. The crowd leaned forward. Next possession, he took off down the wing. Speed. Balance. Cross to the striker. Almost a goal. A murmur spread through the stadium. One of those quiet, rising sounds that signals something's happening. In the 78th minute, he cut inside. One-on-one. Instead of shooting, he chipped the ball. Casual. Precise. A goal. The crowd erupted. But Ronaldo didn't celebrate wildly. He just pointed to the badge on his chest, then jogged back to midfield. Sir Alex watched from the sideline, arms crossed. No smile. But his eyes locked onto Ronaldo the way a general stares at his best soldier. After the final whistle, the locker room was chaos. Laughter. Praise. Back slaps. Cristiano sat quietly, shirt damp, chest rising. Then he pulled out his notebook and wrote one last line. This is where it begins. But never where it ends. And that night, when the stadium lights dimmed and the crowd dispersed, the legend of Ronaldo officially began. Not with fireworks, but with belief. If you felt even a glimpse of what Cristiano lived through, then you know, this wasn't just a game. It was the quiet spark that lit a fire seen around the world. And if this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe just a little bit more, don't forget to subscribe. Thumbs up like the video. Speech balloons, share your thoughts in the comments, I read every one. Loudspeaker and pass this story on to someone who needs it today. Because sometimes, the smallest moments are the ones